Good afternoon, everyone. Gabe Velazquez here with you, transparenttrading-solutions.com. Hope everybody's having a uh, wonderful start to the week. So let's get right into it. Obviously, if you've been watching the markets, we had a pretty severe bout of selling in the last couple of days due to primarily increasing fears of recession, slowdown in the economy, and so on and so forth. Just a couple of things before I get started with the charts. Everybody should pull up your charts right now. You can see in the background here. So let me do my promo stuff real quick. Everybody give me a thumbs up. Let everybody know about the channel. Sign up for the newsletter. I'm going to talk about a few things I've been kind of harping on in the newsletter and here that actually have panned out pretty well. Also, I have a class tonight, and interestingly, I have a class in about 3 hours in some of the stuff that we're doing with the volatility options strategy. So it's still not too late to sign up, by the way. If you haven't signed up yet and you want to attend, it's in 3 hours. Go ahead and hit the link below and or contact support, and we'll get you hooked up in 3 hours. It's 4 Pacific. I'm going to do the class tonight. Okay. I already got about 30 some odd people signed up. So we'll see. Okay. All right. So let's get into, what's been going on. And it's in essence, I've been talking about and warning and kind of cautioning everybody about the VIX being below 20, right? I think I mentioned that on Friday when I was with you. I said, notable today was the fact that we went below 20 in the VIX. And that and it looks like it's happening again. It's very interesting, right? Has essentially signaled or pretty much has stopped the market in its tracks to the upside. It happened in August, happened in back in early this year. All you got to do is just pull up the VIX chart, compare it against the S&P, and you can see. And so it looks like that's been happening again. That coupled with the fact that we couldn't get above 4,100. And the NASDAQ, I mentioned that on Friday. The NASDAQ also still big time laggard. NASDAQ didn't even break out above 12,113. So all that put together, basically, set the market, on its heels, so to speak, right? But here's the thing. So again, pull up your charts, everybody. You should be following along with me on your charts. At the end of the day, what really, again, we had these huge, we had that huge rally on, last Wednesday after the Powell speech. Now we've had this big sell-off. So I want to actually use the NASDAQ as an example, right? So what really has happened in the last, month? If you just, again, if you were just sitting in a news, without any kind of news, just in a vacuum, I'll ask that as a question. If you guys can type in the chat, what basically has happened in the NASDAQ in the last month, regardless of these intraday moves and so forth? Type in the chat, everybody. I know they're right. Yeah, exactly. Right. We basically rallied right back to the November highs, 12,113, and we're right back down to the lows from last week. Hey, JT, right? But everybody's kind of going berserk out there, right? This is really amazing, right? Everybody's going ape bananas, let's call it, right? Let's be nice, right? Right? But the reality is nothing really, nothing. Oh, nice, JT. Yeah, we were long puts from last week. Remember? In fact, I've been rolling them. I've been rolling them down, and now we have two sets of calls for a bounce. So if we get a nice rally in the SPY in the next 3 days, we're gonna actually do real well. We already covered our puts. Yep. Is everybody? Am I cutting out with everybody, or I'm not getting any? Is it? Am I okay with everybody, or no? I'm not getting any. Usually, I get a signal here, telling me that my connection is all bad. Yeah, Kelly, it must be you, my friend. Yep. Okay. All right. So, yep. At the end of the day, we now are we at a critical juncture in the Nasdaq? Of course. So here's the thing: if we break 11,520.22, then we probably had, probably it wouldn't surprise me we go all the way back down and test the lows because that has been the big time laggard, correct? So we'll have to see what happens there. And again, I don't want to belabor this point, but um, you know, we cannot get any kind of sustained rally, Santa Claus or otherwise, unless we get these mega, the Amazons, the Apples, all that stuff. So I've talked about this. Uh, Got to get that going, or else we may just stay in a range, right? So that's really what it comes down to. So, in terms of any new trades, this is again why, if you catch some momentum like JT did, and by the way, let me ask you a question, everybody, for you momentum breakout traders. Today was a really good momentum day, correct? Um, but let me ask you this. Are the kind of momentum days that we saw today where just the market opens and it just kind of unwinds and keeps going down in one direction, is that a more frequent or less frequent event? How often does that happen, by the way, when you get these kind of moves, this kind of momentum move? What do you think? Does that happen a lot, or does it happen not that much? Yeah, it probably happens once every, 10, 15 trading days, right? So momentum traders, yeah, you got to make hay when it rains, so to speak, right? And that's part of why, the volatility plays that we do, we only put them on once a week. You can get one or two moves out of these things every week. You're good to go, right? But most of the time, you get a lot of chop intraday. And that's part of the reason why the options kind of smooth things out. Because if you're trying to trade on a future side, you may get momentum. Like yesterday, we got a lot of chop in the morning, and then the thing just, kind of just grinded lower. But the options situation kind of helps out in regards to that. Does that make sense, everybody? So, anyways, where we go from here, I mean, we've got some levels below that I'm looking at. In fact, the S&P right around 3,900. There's actually a level 30 in the 3882-ish area. Yep. And then if we drop down below, then we're got probably going all the way down to 3750. The surprisingly, I have to tell you, because I thought maybe we are going to be kind of just quiet in front of PPI Friday, and next week is going to be huge, right, with CPI and the Fed. But who knows? I mean, the action, which actually was pretty good. I'm actually glad that we had some really nice movement, and we've actually been capitalizing on that as well. So, anyways, now going forward, the PPI Friday I think is going to move the market, and then just as a side note, if you guys are trading grains, we do have a big grain report on Friday noon. Which should, if you're involved in the grain markets, which I encourage you to do, corn, wheat, soybeans, that's going to come in on Friday. So that should also create some volatility in the grain markets. Okay. All right, so let me just kind of go through the markets. Again on the S&P, this latest sell-off left a little level right around 4,000. You see the little pause. It's kind of a drop-based drop. That could be a little aggressive type of opportunity for some of you guys want to take that on the short. Right. It's literally right on 4,000. You can see it on your charts, right? Everybody see that? And then down below, maybe down to this 3882-ish area. Those are the kind of levels I'm looking at right now on the NASDAQ. A little bit tricky. I probably wouldn't do anything with the NASDAQ on the long side until we got possibly down below 1100 and then up to about 1240.85. But again, this has been very, very very, very underperforming. So I don't see anything there. Now, also so in retrospect, that level on the Dow, you had to sit through some huge pullbacks. I mean, it came all the way back almost to that 35,560. It almost came all the way back and then finally fell out. So that worked out pretty nicely. And then on the Dow, really not seeing anything until about 32,500 or so on the Dow. Bonds, not a lot, kind of just chopping around. But we did, clear 114. It's holding so far. That's the one, again, to keep an eye on. We did pull back from 114.27. So maybe we get, we got to break above that. And probably not going to, who knows, we may not do that until next week. If that's going to happen, if we get another hot CPI number on Wednesday, we probably go right back down again in the bond market. Okay. And then the dollar just very closely tracking stocks. So today, as the dollar, as stocks fell, the dollar, rallied and it looks like it wants to move higher as well. 106 is going to be a key level to look at on the dollar. Okay. So if you're looking at the dollar, look at that 106 level. And and again, it's all going to be predicated. The stock market is leading the dollar, by the way. So essentially, I made comment of this on Friday. I wrote about it over the weekend. By the way, if you don't get the newsletter, get the newsletter. I've been talking about this, how strongly inversely correlated these things are. So, maybe it's lessening because today was a good example where, you had a pretty good sell-off in stocks and the dollar actually did gain, but not to the extent that you would think. You'd think that we'd have a massive rally in the dollar, just like we have had in the past, or when we had that massive, that big last Wednesday's rally, the dollar just tanked. So we'll see how that goes. Now on the currencies, I've still been looking at the yen. Maybe around the 75.0075 for a short. Canada, we got a Bank of Canada announcing tomorrow. There's some levels, around the 72, 73. But again, largely just range trading, pretty aggressive levels. Mexican peso starting to warm up to that. It did go to 52. If you guys haven't traded Mexican peso, that's also pretty good. There's a level around that just was formed not too far away from where we're at right now. I may put something out for my members on that as well. Check out the peso if you haven't. And then nothing really on gold or silver and copper I've been talking about. Copper did rally, and I think we do have $4 to look at on copper. And, the big story, as I mentioned Friday, because of the OPEC and what's going on in Europe, I did mention that, oil was going to have a big move, and indeed it did. We are in the XLE, I mentioned that. So that's actually doing pretty well for us right now. It's just getting going, trying to get long gold, oil below right near the 71 mark. Okay. So you saw we had a big sell-off. We basically just came right up to the resistance of 83 and then fell right back down very sharply. So if it keeps falling, we are going to get long oil in the low 70s as well. Okay. All right. And then nat gas. So what we did on Nat Gas, remember I was talking about buying UNG. Well, what happened this weekend is we got a big gap in big old gap in Nat Gas. If you guys are watching the Nat Gas futures market, we have a massive gap, and essentially it's been dropping ever since. So we, in fact, did pull UNG. I did pull it going into Monday because of looked like it wasn't going to hold, and so that actually worked out pretty well for my members. We did actually save a stop out on that. So one of the things that I do for members is send out some SMS and so forth. So depending if the criteria changes or the environment changes, we have to make a move, right? So that in retrospect did work out relative to us not getting a stop out. So sometimes you got to make those kind of decisions, and that worked out. So now where do we go from here with Nat Gas? I think $5, right? $5 on the futures contract. I am still bullish on Nat Gas. I am still going to look to buy UNG, but probably not until we get into the mid-teens, right? $15, $16 area on the UNG. So pull it up on your charts. You can see, and that's going to probably need to line up with the actual futures contract, the Nat Gas futures, around the $5 mark, right? So $5 millionth BTU. You can see that on your charts as well. Okay, there's some levels down in there, and then there's a big monthly level down in the 450 area as well. So those are the areas I'm looking at on the Nat Gas market. Okay. Grains. So we were looking to buy wheat, and we missed it by a little bit. I'm still looking to buy wheat as well. Wheat and corn. Corn's got a gap. You can see it on the charts around in the low 629 area, and then soybeans actually the stronger of the markets here. Looks like we got to get above 1480 on soybeans to get us moving. Okay. Any questions, by the way, thus far? You guys have any questions? All right. Lastly, last week I talked about earnings plays, right? Stocks. And so, we had a really, we had again, not all trades are going to work out and all that good stuff. And you can't, obviously, but, with CrowdStrike, I tweeted about it, whatever, that worked out really, really nicely in front of the earnings. This week, I was looking at 3 stocks, Toll Brothers. What was the other one? MongoDB and DocuSign, right? In front of the earnings. And essentially the premise there is that, we expect a big move out of the earnings. And so this week, DocuSign looks like it's setting up pretty nicely. If you guys, I'll be talking about that in the class this afternoon. So if you guys are interested in something like that, how we set that, I'm not going to get into specific details about it, obviously, because it's going to take. You can't just do it in 20 minutes out of the scope of, but there is a process that I go through, and we've been doing that. I think I've been on this channel. I talked about Best Buy. We did a couple of weeks ago. We did Walmart. We did CrowdStrike, and so on and so forth. And I'm really excited coming into the new year because we're going to get, obviously earnings season's going to start up again. But literally, you have stocks earning. DOCU. That's correct, Kelly. Right? Did you get the You got that already, right? I sent that out earlier today. It's set up really nicely because it was coiled up this morning. So I was kind of waiting. I was going to wait until Thursday, but actually we got a pretty good deal on that, right? So hopefully you got involved in that. Yeah, DOCU. Yeah, You guys know DocuSign, right? If you've done anything online, um, you can check it out, right? So, anyways, yeah. So those are the setups I've got going for this week. Obviously, I'll report back to you on Friday how those pan out. And notice I always tell you in front, not after the fact, which again, I always find that interesting. Yeah. It's always, with the genius of retrospect, as I call it, right? Yeah, look at how great that trade did. Yep, after the fact. Yep. So we don't do that here, right, everybody? I always I tell you what we're going to do and whatever. So, anyways, all right. Any questions? Okay, everybody. If you don't have any other questions, again, let me just kind of recap for everybody for Friday. You got PPI, which I do believe we are ultra sensitive right now. Part of what set up this sell off was a stronger economic data on Monday. No, Terry, you got to sign up for it. It's a class. Just tell Tina to sign you up. If you haven't signed up, just have her ping Tina and she'll give you the link. All right, Terry? Yep. She'll give you the link. Yeah, it's a class. It's a free class. By the way, yeah, you guys can still sign up. It's going to be in about 3 hours. 2.5 hours now. 4:00 Pacific. Okay. So yeah, we'll see if this carries, and it's going to be interesting to see if we hold on to these levels, these ranges in the indexes along the whole, the ranges in the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is right on the cusp of breaking the range. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can get a bounce tomorrow and the next day. Then again, we're basically back to the same thing. But again, next week is going to be the biggie, everybody. Next week, I think we'll resolve the old, Santa Claus or not, right? So, it's either Santa Claus is going to get on the sled and go, or Santa Claus is going to get hijacked, right? The Santa Claus, right? Oh boy. So we'll see. We'll see if Santa Claus gets hijacked this year. All right, everybody. Have a great right, JT. Let's see, rollover next week. Yep. That is correct. That is correct, JT. Yep, we got rollover, currencies, everything. So, okay. All right, everybody. Have a great Tuesday night, and I will see you on Friday. If you need anything, contact me. Support at transparenttrading solutions.com. If you want to sign up for 5 free days, you want to attend the class tonight, all that good stuff. Okay. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.